Banners wave a storm of fire and steel. 9 divisions march toward the battlefield is real. Smoke and turning clogs the sky, the ground begins to quake. Hell's unleashed, the Premier League, the earth begins to shake. Rally cries, the clash of boots. Tides of chaos in pursuit. This is our time, this is our fight. 57 teams ignite the night. Hell let loose, the battle's begun. Only one champion when it's done. Through the trenches, through the flames, the squads all take their stand. Every shot a test of will, each move is carefully planned. Grenades explode, the air is thick, the flags rise and fall. TPL, the Champions League, who will conquer all? Minds are drawn, the maps unfold. Hearts of iron, spirits bold. This is our time, this is our fight. 57 teams ignite the night. Hell let loose, the battle's begun. Only one champion when it's done. This is our fight. 57 teams ignite the night. Hell let loose, the battle's begun. Only one champion when it's done.
Get the rocket out, takes out the garrison and a large amount of them, and really teetering on the edge is, oh my god!
That's so many dead bodies, oh la la. He has the big shotgun, petit sachet, down, take your sachet.
Oh, no! Hello and welcome back to the Insiders Podcast. My name is Caparzo, joined by my fellow insider Snow. Snow, it's been a little bit, so how you been?
It's been a while. But yeah, man, doing good. Just how's your off season been?
Yeah, man, it's been nice to play some other games a little bit here, but I think we're all kind of ready to get back into the swing of things with Hell Let Loose, and with TPL officially starting today. We're getting a little podcast to kind of break down some of the things that are going to be going on this weekend, and we want to welcome, without any further delay, our good pal here, Crawley of the Six. So everyone, give Crawley a warm welcome.
Boys. Going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
It'll be good.
I appreciate you coming along, and now I got like 2 6 on the other end of the table from me, and I'm outnumbered here, so take it easy on me. But how you been, Crawley? You been enjoying the off season?
Yeah, it's been good. We've tried to fill our off season with a lot of matches leading up to the TPL, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see throughout the divisions. I'm really looking forward to this season. Probably the most pumped I've ever been. Should be good.
Yeah, it's a massive tournament this season. We have, you know, as the intro song said, we started with 58, but, you know, a couple, you know, team drops, so we're down to 57. But still, that is good for the biggest tournament in competitive Hell Let Loose across any platform. Docs, what team do you play for? I'll answer that question if I stream your game tomorrow. But yeah, I'm excited for these streams this weekend. But you know, what have you been? I mean, I've been spending my offseason playing other games and, you know, taking a little Hell Let Loose break. But you know, it's time to knock the rust off and get back into it.
Yeah, I think a lot of the boys at the 6, we all jumped on the Battlefield 6 meta and the beta,
Yeah.
We played that like till all hours of the evening, and then when that died, it kind of was like, oh, we got to go back to hell now, we got to lock in. So that was pretty much our off season. We were playing one hell match and then it'd be like 4 hours on the beta, so it was pretty fun. Yeah.
I was very happy to see that beta came out after Summit ended, because if that came out the weekend of or the weekend before, it'd be dangerous for the teams that got too sunk into it, because we were so guilty of it. It was our Discord turned into a Battlefield 6 Discord for a little bit, like the clip channel were all just Battlefield clips. It was it was really nice to have that little bit of break though from the game, and I mean, we're all, I feel like, Battlefield refugees, and we'll get into your gaming history, so it was nice to have something that felt like Battlefield more than it has in a while.
It reminds me of the Arma Reforger last year, and
Right.
Arma Reforger, the PlayStation, the Helldivers, and then you had Phasmophobia, whatever that game's called.
Yeah, infamous Helldivers.
All right, at the same time. I'm in 8, I'm like, can you not play Hell Let Loose? Like, what the hell? And it's just the whole Clips channel is just Helldivers and democracy and
with it coming to Xbox now, it's kind of been renewed that in the Legion server as well, with people playing Helldivers, and the OG people that have been around since, you know, the 7th was around, recall like leading into season 3 at the time, everyone was playing Helldivers, and someone asked for like, hey, can we get a Helldivers roll? And we're like, no, absolutely not, because we started that season so bad because everyone was playing Helldivers. But yeah, so Crawley, we asked everyone, but like, give us a little bit of your gaming history. So like before Hell Let Loose, before, you know, as early as you can get, like what have you been gaming on? Like what did you start playing like competitively that brought you to where you are here today?
So I actually started off, I was like the COD nerd, everything like that, so all the battle royales, and then I don't know, I came across a TikTok one day or a video on YouTube, and it was of Hell Let Loose, and I was like, fuck, I need to try this and have a go, and slowly drifted towards that, and kind of playing like a lot of Battlefield when I was younger. When Hell Let Loose came, I just found it so different to everything else, and then after that, I got picked up by my first clan, which was Roths. Spent a lot of time there, and then eventually decided I needed to change and went to the 6, and just been there ever since. Now the team manager there, and I love it. Yeah, love the 6. This game's given us a lot of opportunity to talk to a lot of people from around the world. It's awesome. Yeah, I love the community and I love the game. It's the best.
Yeah, there's nothing really like Hell Let Loose on the market. I think that's what keeps everyone coming back week to week. Just to adjust the chat real quick, Docs, yes, I am streaming your match tomorrow, so that'll be a good one. But yeah, I think the life that Hell Let Loose has somehow had throughout all of this has really been surprising to me. I didn't think that a couple of years ago that we would be in the playing the game still, never mind it being in the state that it is, where, you know, we have 57 teams that are going to be playing in 9 divisions for, you know, the next 3 months really, and you know, the interest has really never been higher.
Yeah, and it's like, it's also crazy because you get people and the teams, like, you think, when I first started, I was like, oh, I only knew about the teams in OCE, but now I'm finding teams from Mexico, South America, you got teams from Europe. It's just like, wow. And then it's incredible.
Yeah, it's a world competition at this point, and you know, I think the thing that I've loved these last 2 seasons of, you know, the Premier League is the South American clans getting involved now too, and like we have you know, 2 or 3 Brazilian teams. You know, I worked this offseason to work with the Latin American or South American League to try to get some of the casters that work for them to also cast for TPL so that these Brazilian and Spanish-speaking teams can get cast in their primary languages, which I think is something everyone wants to see. Their team casted and understand what the commentator's saying, or not have to use captions or whatever. So I'm definitely excited for that. We see people talking about TPL in Vietnam next year. That's something Snow and I
We'll
were
talk about that.
Yeah, that's something Snow and I were talking about earlier. Is like, what does that mean for our game? Like, what is your take on that, Snow?
I genuinely cannot wait. Just hearing the helicopters. Yeah, you know how everyone said if they ever added helicopters, I'm just being a full-time helicopter pilot.
Right.
But no, just the tunnels and stuff. And plus, they're gonna have to restructure like the gameplay model. You can't just do a warfare with like Hamburger Hill as the middle point. I don't know what they're gonna do. Like deciding winning and losing. But
they did
I don't
say
know.
it would
I
have
can't wait.
warfare, so like you have to imagine there's some amount of the game built around that. So maybe it will be, we'll all complain about being, having to defend Hamburger Hill and how impossible it is.
Can we ban away too? Fuck no! I shouldn't have said it.
You're gonna
If
make
Snow
him
gets
on.
into a helicopter,
He's gonna.
it won't take off.
That's
There
brutal.
won't be a big enough helicopter for you, Snow. All right. Yeah.
What do you
banned these
think,
bugs.
Crawley, about Vietnam? Like, you excited? You worried for what
I
it'll
think
mean
it's
for
going
us?
to be not so much worried because I feel like Hell Let Loose is very unique. It's the only World War II game where you can get that feeling for all those history nerds out there, but Vietnam is just going to take it to another level. Like, I'd love to see like a competition around Vietnam. I reckon it'd be a lot different to what it is now, like a lot of gameplay and a lot of differences. I don't know, the armor rolls would just be awesome. I'm just reading Snow getting absolutely cooked in chat as well. Like,
Perseus just went with the simple. He's a very large man, and
I'm just like,
means a lot, eh? Damn.
Yeah, but I think the balancing is going to be interesting for something like that too. Like, we already live in a world where people complain about the German bias and the tanks, the Panzerschreck. How's it going to work when you have like the NVA versus the Allies and they don't even get helicopters, but maybe something about tunnels? Like, I guess that's going to be interesting to see how that works. Like,
fucking line strat, and they just dig up under you and come up behind you.
I wonder if like when you bring organized players to a system or like a mechanic like that, if it gets broken instantly because people can really abuse it, like maybe in a way that the developers didn't think people would work together to do something like that. Like, imagine it's just like a fast travel and you could just appear like 48 guys in the mid cap. Like, that'd be insane. Like end of game shenanigans like that would be wild. But the fact that, I would believe it's going to be built from the ground up, which is better than I feel like what we have in Hell Let Loose, where the game is kind of built on two developers' work and it just is like a spaghetti mess at this point. We've all experienced that quite a bit.
Yeah. I am glad to see it's a different development company, and it makes sense to kind of seems like the updates for Hell Let Loose have been kind of put on the back burner. Like, it's a few content updates, but no really bug fixes. So, and it's supposed to be a sequel. It's not supposed to be like an adjacent game. Like, so it sounds like to me they're gonna like stop the updates on the original Hell Let Loose and kind of put. I know it's two different companies, but like put focus towards Vietnam.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it works out. It's I think it'll be good for the community. I think a lot of people will obviously be playing both, or if it's just wholesale improvement, or everyone just agrees that, hey, let's just do the competitive scene on this game instead. It could have as much life as this game has had, which had way more than I thought it would. I mean, we're 5-6 years into this. Like, it's kind of crazy at this point that how far we've come.
Bring a whole new player base as well. Like, a whole bunch of new players would join in, so teams could, probably be Div 5 or Div 6 in, Hell Let Loose, but then when it comes to Vietnam, they could be pushing for D1, D2. Like, you just never know. Like, it'd be crazy.
Are you a Vietnam nerd or more of a World War II nerd? What's your flavor there, Crawley?
I was World War Two. I
War
was like Saving Private Ryan was my favorite movie growing up. Like, I was one of those. Yeah, I'm a big World War Two nerd. So I just go to old Wilco for any advice when it comes to Vietnam. So he helps me out then. But good old Rebel Captain from the 6 as well. Yeah, he does it all. So it's awesome.
I've been really nerding out. I've been reading Hirohito's War. It's like this massive book on all the Pacific War, and some battles that I like never really heard of because in America it's not like talked about as much because there wasn't as much Marine involvement. But the like Kokoda Trail is something that I've always heard about, like talked about, but I'm sure that's like a bigger thing in Australia where like it was an Aussie focused battle.
Yeah, a lot of Australians, like, they will try and do the Kokoda track at least once in their life. I've got a few mates that have gone and walked the Kokoda track, and it's brutal, but that's like a staple point because of how close they were to our actual home. So it was a pretty big event. That, like, the chocolate soldiers, they were called, they all thought they would melt under the first battle, and they ended up holding out, like, giving Japan one of the worst defeats out of that. So it was awesome.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting bit, and that's as much as I'll bother you guys with nerding out on specific World War II battles for tonight. But if you're interested in more, I got tons. But let's talk TPL. So we talked a little bit about it so far, but this is the biggest competition we've ever had on Hell Let Loose. So we're going to focus this episode on Divisions 6 through 9 because that's what the teams that are going to be playing this weekend. So we have a full slate of matches that are going to be played, and I'll be, there's posters that are in TPL, so if you want to watch those, there's a playlist on the TPL YouTube channel that will have all the streamers, like, have their streams in there. So if you want to look in one place and see everything, at least as far as YouTube goes, that'll be there for you guys. So I'm excited for it. I got 2 matches this weekend that I'm casting. But I mean, I'm certainly going to be tuning into as many as I can. But these lower divisions, what is we've watched it last season. Snow, why don't you talk a little bit about like what your thoughts were from watching these smaller format games?
I personally like them a lot more. I just feel like the way you play is, at least last season, it was so fun. Like, because at the beginning of the season, you were seeing these brand new teams like try to play, and it was just hysteria because no one really knew exactly what to do. But then as the season went on, you could see them like learn. Like to some of the games that weight casted early last season was like people in half tracks. There were just 4 half tracks on the map and 1 garrison, and it was just funny to watch. But they're getting good. And just to think, 2 years ago we had TPL Light with 6 teams.
Right. Now it's most of the league is these smaller formats. So for you guys out there that aren't familiar, so Divisions 6 and 7 are both 35v35, and Divisions 8 and 9 is 30v30. So these are a little smaller formats. Next week, I know it says it on the side that we're going to go over D5, but that was my mistake. That's being played next week, and that is a 40v40 division. So that's the first ever time we've had that in TPL. So we'll see how that plays with just 10 or 9, I guess, less players on the field. But Crawley, what is the smaller format? Like, what were you around in 6th when you were in the TPL Light?
No, I wasn't around at the 6th with TPL Light. I was actually at Roth's, but we didn't play TPL. We played Summit, and we weren't that big enough yet, so we ended up merging with an Aussie clan called E506, and we did like a split, and I think we only had 30 Roth players and they had 20, and then that was kind of how it went. But then when it broke off into like separating for TPL, I think the divisions is great. It brings a whole new element to the gameplay. Like, a lot of the OCE side of competition is like, I think you have MSU started off playing 30s with the OCL, OSL, or whatever it is. Can't get the right name. You had SCC playing 30s, you had the 11 playing 30s, and even ANZR started down at 35s and moved their way up. So it's just like all these teams in the OCE started. Like even TFMC went for a rebuild in 35s and went back up. So yeah, it's great. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I personally kind of agree with Snow in that I prefer watching it and to an extent casting the 35v35 and 30v30s because, I've said this before, but it's like every team is on a power play in hockey where there's just so much extra space to work with. So you can do all these things that are really not possible at all in 49s. And, the red zone garrison play is like massive in 30s. Like if you can get a red zone garrison or a good OP even, you can bring half your team there.
Yeah, the distribution of manpower with 30 players is so good, and the gaps are so big when you're attacking an enemy. It's really fun. They need to do a D1 player only 30v30 league. That'd be
I think
insane.
It would be an adjustment though, because like the 49s v 49s is all line based for the most part now. But in the old days, people played like zone defense on everything. So like back in KRC, I remember playing zone. Like that was what you did. You had like your roaming radiuses, and like you'd be like at this distance, and you'd hold your sectors like that. But I think if you try to do the line in 30s, it just wouldn't work out for you. You kind of have to go to that zone defense again.
Your line would only be like 4 grid squares.
Right. You'd have to play narrow, which
map.
defeats the point of it. Like, if they can get behind your line, then might as well not do it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to show a trailer for the season before we get too far into this. So this is edited and put together by Axhawk, who's done so much on the media side of things for TPL this season, and all the overlays that you'll see throughout the season made by him. So this is really well put together. So let's take a look.
It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Taco has secured the TPL Division 1 championship. So congratulations.
So yeah,
pretty damn good.
Something to get excited about with this season. So you saw 58. We had one drop, so we're down to 57. But still, the most in any tournament ever. Taco, the reigning Division 1 champions, and we were talking about it early, Crawley. But teams represented from across the world. It's a global competition in TPL this year.
Yeah, it's incredible the way that like the breakoffs from major teams to create these factions and like start developing teams in these countries is awesome. It just brings a more wide variety to the platform that we play on. It's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Off topic.
Go ahead, Sam.
But 21st, you said who made that trailer? Is it the 21st?
Axhawk. He's
the amount of
with our media team
to make. Great job by him, but the amount of LARPing to make that trailer is something. Were they jumping out of a plane? Like, where the hell did he do that?
I don't know where he got that footage from, but yeah, I mean, it's better than the we've taken a German OP trailer. They should have hired Axhawk for that one.
Yeah, dude. No, that was awesome. It was like all I could think about was the 21 gun salute from 21st. I don't know why. I'm not making fun of him, but it's just like It's good to watch, but I couldn't imagine joining the game and just seeing like 8 soldiers and 8 soldiers lining up. I'm just like, damn.
I think
It was great.
I think in Vietnam, I'm gonna just quit playing like meta hell let loose and just join a
I'm
LARP
going
clan.
LARPing.
Yeah, I'm just LARPing now. I'm tired. I just need to LARP and get my ranks up and my certifications, and that's all I need now.
Off topic, but do you remember Bedra that left
Yeah.
us to join Legion?
Yeah.
You know what he done after he left Legion?
What?
He joined a LARP, and he is like the senior commander of some fucking D54 milsim. And dude, he dropped like 186 kills the other night in like one of their league games, and the closest person was like 52. And
It's a dream,
it's just
man.
so funny.
And you just
Yeah,
show
that's what he
up
likes to do.
and you play. That's good for him. I wish everyone would just pursue their dreams like that. That's good to hear. But yeah, we see Ludup saying Major Snow shouting about LARPing. Yeah, Snow, you're salute the rank, not the man. So let's take a look at these divisions here. Let's start with Division 6. So we have a little graphic here of all the teams here, and we'll talk a little bit about like what the division is. So this is a 35v35 division, and we have 263 Rage, Only Fins, Division Española de Combat, Legion 201, Red Zone, and Hellraisers Brazil. So this is like a global division in and of itself between Rage, the Spanish clans, the Finnish clans, and then we got the Brazilians in there as well. So this is going to be a fun one.
Well,
And a Mexican.
all right.
Yeah. Española, I think that's what that is.
This isn't that professional analysis that we need, but shout out to Legion 201 for actively having the most racist server where it says, I think it's like Gringos versus Latinos is the name of their server. Please tell me you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
Caparzo.
I can't say.
It's so
I usually
funny.
just go to my favorites and go from there, but
Oh, dude, that server is so funny if anyone ever gets the chance, because that's where they mainly practice at. So shout
Latinos and
yeah,
Gringos.
Latinos and Gringos.
Tommy knows. All right,
Yeah, that's
Tommy's
what-
going to back you up on that one. That's fair.
Hey, it's just Spanish. We can't speak it, but it's gonna be a crazy division. You got Rage as like a Division 8. They moved up.
Yeah.
Division leader. And then you got some really powerhouse teams that we saw in the off-season league. Believe was it Hellraisers, or am I completely wrong here?
L201 played in the off-season league, and they played really well.
Yeah.
No.
So
Well, it was the Brazilian team that was in the final against MSU.
OCL Kabbalah.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay,
I think
maybe
they're
it's
in. I think
different.
they're in D5 or even D4.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. We can look a little bit, but this is going to be. I think this and D5 are some of my favorite divisions to watch this season. I think that they're going to be competitive the whole way through, and they're going to be interesting games rather than whoever caps first wins. Only Fins, contender for one of the best clan names out there.
Yeah, I was gonna
comprised
say,
of
like,
Finnish players,
hectic.
as you would imagine.
So good.
And
It's so fucking good.
I knew about them a while ago, and then I hadn't heard from them in a while, and then I saw I think with the World Cup, it kind of maybe renewed the
World
interest in
Cup.
that sort of thing. So I'm really happy to see them here in Division 6.
It reminds me of like PC, where there's like some crazy name teams. I hate that we did this at console. Like when we were gonna change our name, we decided to go the more serious route. But there was some like the purple. I forget what Matty I said. Like the purple. It was from that movie. I can't even remember the name of it, but it was just like a stupid Adam Sandler movie, but purple something.
When you went
but
to
it's just
Envision,
funny
you're
name.
talking about, right?
Yeah. I can't remember the name he suggested, but
Envision.
it was something.
I think
stupid.
Envision has like an over 500 record as a clan, though. I think they won more than they
yeah.
lost in the short time. They like beat Merc and then never played
Yep,
again.
I think we were 3-2.
Yeah, there
for
you
that
go.
name.
See?
And I think we were like 52 and 23 as 8.
Yeah, if I would have known that the Airhead game was going to be so consequential for you guys, we wouldn't have done that. The farming of the Airhead that time. That was.
It wasn't that. It was when we played. It was the EXO and Legion fill-in. The 3 Legion fill-ins turned out to be like 35 of you guys.
3 Legion is a lot, though, to be fair. So, why don't we talk Division 7? We're going to go into the matchups. And for
Dodgeball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Globo
the
Purple Cobras.
Globe Gym. Yeah, that's what we were going to be named.
That would have been a good one.
And the logo was a fat dude with my face on it. That was going to be the logo.
I'll unban Snow and TPL just to ban him for the Sandler comment. LeBearju said.
Okay.
We're working on.
Please.
We're working on that unban so Snow can cast. But Division 7 here now. So this is still the 35s v 35s. We have RMC. We have the Royal Dragoons Guard, Death Before Dishonor, the Dutch Lions Brigade, the 79th Infantry Division Rangers, and 626 Gaming Division. So some teams that I think are brand new to TPL. I don't believe 626 or the 79th have played in TPL before. So excited to see them play competitively. I'm not sure their experiences beforehand. So if any of you guys play on that team and you're in chat, fill us in here. But this is still sticking with the 35, so it's the same sort of rules apply here. I'm streaming RMC versus 626 on Sunday, I believe. So I think that they're playing West Bend.
Oh no!
Yeah, I couldn't. Once I saw that, I was like, I know which match I want to stream this weekend.
Farming simulator.
Yeah,
Hey, don't hate on that game.
I wasn't sure how, in the smaller format, how that's going to factor into how West Bend is fought. Like, it's probably going to be a lot of the same, obviously, but I think you get a little bit more opportunity with red zone shenanigans and stuff like that, and, you make a crazy play that would never work in 49. So that's the thing that I'm most excited for. I see 79th in common. So, have you guys played in any sort of competitive, league before? Because it'd be interesting to see you guys playing Winter War League Trench Division Championship. Oh, yeah, RMC and 79th in the Winter War League Trench League Championship. So, these teams do have a lot of experience then. I mean, Winter War League rule set's a little differently. I'm sure they're going to be very thankful that in TPL it's only one-man Artie in a West Bend game. But it's going to be fun, I think.
I do know the leader is 626. He is, I want to say he was 21st. His name is Grizzly. But
That's a lot of DMP.
Yeah, funny enough, that team was going to be the 8th. They had actually asked me for the logo and the rights to name that. So they were going to be the next 8, which is funny to me. But no, they decided to go to 626 after I told them everyone kind of hated us. So he was like, we need to start on a better foot. But yeah. And then you got Death Before Dishonor. That's Welshie's team, correct?
No.
See Welshie around. No? It's not?
Death Before Dishonor is.
That's I think it's a UK team. That's Body plays for them, and he did that 24-hour stream last weekend, I think it was, where it benefited that children's hospital charity. So, shout out to Body and the DVD boys with that organized that, and that was a crazy stream, dude. I tuned into that a few times. I watched it when it first started for a while, and then just throughout the next 24 hours, I would just tune in, and he was in just various states of just dead tired from Hell Let Loose, and I cannot imagine how happy he was to shut his PlayStation or Xbox off.
24 hours of Hell Let Loose would be literal fucking hell.
It would torture, dude.
Put a bullet. Hate the bullet.
Especially some of those
pub
weird hour pub games where it's just there's nothing you can do. There's no amount of wrangling that will make this entertaining time. I mean, at least with the private servers now, you have a little bit better chance.
Nights of me trying to play on the TFMC server at 3 a.m. and then nobody knowing what the hell to do.
That's
Wasn't
nice.
the CFC.
At least you can play on the TFMC server.
Some bans being handed out over there on your side, Crawley. You caught a ban?
We're
Might have.
nearly all banned.
But
If I
Doc's
speak up,
Doc saying in chat 3,500 pounds in 24 hours for the hospital. So that's it's quite the considerable event that they ran there. So great
It's
job
incredible.
by him and the community coming together for something like that. But Tommy's laughing at that one, Crawley. So any last words here on D7? We'll move over to D8 and then D9 before we get into the individual matchups.
Yeah,
No.
nothing here.
nothing here.
Alrighty, so D8 we have, this is now 30v30. So 11th Infantry Division, 48th Royal Tank Regiment, Commando Especial Latino, Soldier of Hell, Sons of UDT, Panzer Lehr, and the 27th Field Artillery Regiment. So some more new teams here and some more experienced teams. Like Sons of UDT has been around since TPL Light days, and they've kind of been playing in this format for longer than I think any other team that I could recall.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't seen them in a minute. Did they play last season? I
Yeah,
wasn't really
they
keeping
were
track
in
of
the light finals against R22R, or not the light finals, the that whatever that division
It's
final was.
It was
Yeah,
8, maybe.
it
Yeah,
was
eight.
8 or
it.
7.
No, that was Rage.
Yeah, 7. I
I think it was
might have
7.
been. Um,
Rage was 8.
But they'll be back here and playing in the smaller format again. 11ID has been playing a lot this offseason since TPL. They were in the offseason competitive league that Crawley was talking about earlier. I think that they're in Winter War League. I could be wrong about that, though. But I think that they, to me, are an early favorite for this division just because of the experience I've seen them get over the last 6 months.
Don't sleep on the UDT boys. They've been doing this stuff for like 4 or 5 years now.
That's true.
The 30.
Even that 27 Field Artillery Regiment, they're brand new, and I've just been looking at the player transfers in TPL. They've got a few players as well from 3.5, 9PZ, and some First Boys. So that'll be interesting to see how they play up as well, being a new team.
Yeah, I think it might be worthwhile to do another one of those, player
Transaction.
transfer analysis things. Like, I really, it's so much work, but like, I think it really is. There's been so much movement these last 4 weeks. It's worth looking at, what's happened, especially with things like, we're going to talk about this later at the wrap up segment, but things like WRTB and the first, kind of. Having their difficulties. I don't know if either of them are fully done, but it's obviously been a big, for lack of a better word, genuinely exodus from those two clans.
And I think Crawley had mentioned the recruitment. I think just from someone that ran kind of like a low tier team to try to build it up, that's the most important thing. If you can convince, if you're the leader of these teams or people in these teams, if you can convince these D1 guys that step away and come help the community in a lower division, just one player at that level, man, just not just the killing that they could do in the game, but just the experience that they could teach everyone else around them. It's multiplied, especially at that level.
Yeah,
Lambda going to the R22R, that was a scenario of that.
Right.
That really, and he played that last season TPL for R22R, and they're pulling off truck snipes in Div 7, and everyone's like, what is going on? And it's from meterless spawn. It just shows you how much that one player of a Div 1 or even top tier of Div 2 quality can bring to those sides. It's, yeah.
right.
Definitely keeping the eyes out for them.
It's more possible to do what you're talking about and have one guy come and kind of show a team what it takes to kind of play on that level because of the private servers. There's endless ability to say hey, join this VC at this time. I'm just going to be in our prep server showing some things. And if you get one guy to be oh man, that's really cool, and buy into it, and then you build a community of people doing that together, that's when your team can really, really get good. The tolerance for things like not getting to the mid cap when you're, driving there, and the tolerance for these like things that used to be excusable in the past because you didn't know what route you were going to run. The tolerance is nothing now. So, if you're not doing it, everyone else is, and you got to just adapt with the game.
Yeah, I mean, D1 is like a game of inches, like just taking it to the Legion and Taco game. Like that one truck snipe kind of set the game up, and now it was going to fold.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally the difference between a team getting 2 truck snipes and 3 truck snipes. Like, that's crazy that was even a scenario. But if it was an even swap, like, Taco probably has the advantage there. It's like these things that happen in the first, it used to be like the first
30 seconds.
Yeah, it used to be like the first 5 minutes, and then now it's just like the things that happen as soon as the wall drops. Like as soon as that happens, the game is like on, and you can and probably will die.
Yeah, I mean, because unless for a few moments of that finals game, it was nearly about a stalemate.
Right.
They would gain some ground, then you guys would gain some ground, and it was just a stalemate. It all came down to that. You guys doing that extra little bit of prep, hitting those trucks. I mean, I'm not saying that you obviously had to play, but what I'm trying to say. It's wild, and some people hate it. That's why unfortunately, you're starting to see these players retire just because it's so much homework.
Yeah.
So you can just hop on the game and play.
I'm the first person to tell everyone that it is a lot of work, and if you want to run the ranks as your team, and if you're a D1 player and that's like something that is interesting to you to do, it's gonna be more work, and it's about getting people to buy in the end. Like, so much of what we do is impossible without 49 other guys and girls doing what's supposed to be done during these matches. It's kind of a miracle that it works as well as it does right now, honestly. That as Snow, as a former clan leader, like that's and Crawley, you as a current one.
Yeah, the amount of prep it's like, it's sometimes when you come home from actually working your day job, and then you come back to this and you got to do the roster, the strats, and you got to look at map prep, and it's just thinking some days it's like, geez, is it really worth the time and the effort? Because it is a lot of energy, but you just do it if you're really still passionate. And lucky I'm still really passionate for the game, so yeah.
Not even that, the 3 days, we're in the war room, just doing map bans and going over scenarios and what to pick, and it's just.
It's but it's good now. I think a lot of teams across all. I can only speak probably the top tier teams have probably a war council that divvies up a bit of the responsibilities, so it's not so much of a burden as it once was to just maybe 3 or 4 guys that used to do it. Malarkey ran himself into the ground for doing all that stuff, but now we've integrated war council, so it's just it opens up a new broadening of horizon that we can divvy up all these extra responsibilities, and we have certain leads for all this, so it's
Right.
It's just about how you want to run the clan.
There's so many things that need to be done, in leading up to a match too, from map bans to truck routes to truck snipes to recruiting in the off season, and how your armor is gonna play, how your artillery is gonna play. There's so many little things that need to be hashed out for the most part the first 5 minutes of the game, and then everyone just needs to know what their responsibility is, and do the Bill Belichick do your job type deal. If everyone just does their job, we're gonna be fine. If people decide that they want to freelance and think that they know better or something like that, that's when things fall apart, because you leave a spot that someone else needs to fill, and then they left a spot that someone else needs to fill, and it just unravels. So buy-in and practice and scrims, I see Wild Bill mentioned that. It's really all about that. You guys do quite a few scrims as well. I mean, we Legion and 6 scrim a good amount.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've had a week off since the end of the season.
Yeah, this is our first week off due to it being Father's Day over in Oz, so we couldn't get the match sign-ups. But yeah, this is our first weekend off, and I think about 5 to 6 weeks maybe.
Well, it's the start of you guys' summer season, so like I know what that's like in the northern hemisphere, where it's like Memorial Day weekend time of the year, and you're saying to yourself like, all right, let's be outside. Not that it's not beautiful, way more there than it is here, but you get the picture.
Yeah, this is just getting off winter, so everything's starting to liven up, and next TPL's starting to too. It's gonna be good.
I wish there was only one season per year at DPL. It seems like the fall season at DPL is just like peak.
I see that, but at the same time, Snow, how long does it feel since TPL?
I know it's been a while, but I know
it's not been as long as it feels, though.
No, it's been like February, right?
Yeah, so it's if we didn't have a competitive tournament to like do this in, like what would I feel like you'd lose passion for the game. Like, you can only pub so much. Yeah, we just had Summit, but there would have to be something in the meantime before.
Well, no, I'm saying TPO to like, okay, it's September to like January is about our season, and then you have Summit in the spring, and then you have
the summer off. You're saying?
Yeah, well, not really. We were in Summit till like the last week of August, about the midway of August.
When did Summit start though? Was it like May?
It started in like April, like right at the end of April.
Huh.
We didn't have hardly long at all.
Yeah, between Summit or between TPL and Summit last season was a quick turnaround. It was like 2 weeks or something like that. That was tough.
Yeah, like trying to recruit, like we say off-season recruitment. We all know recruiting is a year-round job.
Yeah.
So and it's only a certain time in the fucking year that we can get the players in. But it was the 2 weeks was insane. And then it was like last season was the first season that they started the roster locks.
Right.
And then EPL is doing it too, which I think is fine. I hate it as a person that gets people, but
no, it's definitely the right thing to do. I mean, we've seen it like gamified in previous seasons where you didn't have it, where a team would get knocked out of the playoffs and then all their players would go play for the team that just beat
shit.
that. That's crazy.
Shit.
Like that's like in total, like it's not in violation of the rules, but it's certainly in violation of the spirit. Like it's just I never liked that, and I'm glad that there's a way that it's being tracked. Obviously, people with bad intentions can try to circumvent it, but really that's on you at that point. Like, just seriously. But, yeah, I mean, that's just my take on that.
Oh, yeah. I hate it as a community aspect, but as someone that's like, hey, we can get you in. Oh, shit.
Can't play, though.
You're locked. Yeah.
So, yeah, and it's like, why would you leave a team that you're roster locked to either?
Exactly.
It's like, you gotta just play, right? Like, you want to play the games, right?
And that's why I was seeing, the only change I would, sorry, I know we're off on a tangent, the only change I would make is if...
This is a good episode for tangents. I'm all for it. Thank you.
Okay, playoffs have started. Say you're on Merc. Merc loses round 1. Okay. Well, see, never mind. So I'm thinking
because they would all just jump
that would literally defeat. Okay, wait, no. Okay, I had it backwards. Regular season transfers are fine. Playoffs stop. Once playoffs start, like
that's
you
what
can't.
it should be.
Yeah, or have like even in the NFL or even in these top sports teams, like there's trades. Like you have a trade deadline. I just feel like maybe halfway through the season or sometime in the season, or hell, like wait to the playoffs. I think Summit used to do that with week 2 and it worked fine.
I think the season, like, in 49s is pretty short. Like, when you look at the number of games that are actually being played, it's not that many. Mm-hmm. So, if you have a team that goes 0-2 and you're saying the trade deadline's, like, 4, there's a lot of opportunity for those guys to be like, fuck this, I'm going somewhere else. And, then you kill that team, they lose out and they fumble.
That player.
You were that player?
I was an EXO until played 6 round 1. Didn't leave to go to 6 because of this. But I was just like, well, this ain't fit for me. It takes a league game sometimes to see, oh, this ain't for me. I'm just not gelling. Nothing wrong with those guys. And I was able to move. Yeah, I would have quit Hell Let Loose if I couldn't have made that transfer, and I would have been stuck there. Then I don't know. This is just my personal experience, in my opinion. Obviously,
it also comes down to the player at the end of the day. Like, obviously, certain players and certain teams, when they realise their potential and how much they can actually impact a game and things like that, and they feel that their team's a bit stagnant and not going to take that step up. We obviously realise with Hell Let Loose Vietnam, and we've all turned around and said this game is dying, that people do want to take the big step up and go, no, I really respect you guys, but I really want to go try and challenge myself in Div 1.
Yeah.
That's...
that was at the time of me leaving KRC. That was a lot of my mentality. I mean, now it seems, silly in hindsight because we know that the game lived much longer. But at that moment in time, like, the game was as broken as it ever was, and I'm thinking to myself, like, how many seasons of TPL, like, how many more months has this game got left in it? So, like, I wanted to try to play in D1 and see what that was like. It was before D1, obviously, but play on one of those top teams and see if I could, like, make it. And I could make it a little bit, but I'm not. Obviously, it's much, much harder. We were talking about that earlier, but it's it's definite. And then you have the other side of it that we were also just talking about, where it's like, all right, now you did the D1 thing, let me go down to, like, D6, 7, 8, 9 and try to, like, build another team up.
I think there's also... you go, Snow.
I was just gonna say, look at Leb. Leb went to Pathfinder's first season,
right?
And he's kind of told me in Crawley, I'm sure. But he's getting through his end. He says that anyway, and you want to finish it out with a bang, kind of thing. But I'm sure he left us because he wanted to go help, and I find that respectable.
And they were hitting truck snipes last season. I'm sure he was part of that. Yeah.
Yeah. The best win Pathfinder's ever had was on that Carrington against 9PZ, in my opinion.
That was a great match. Yeah.
So
I think there's also a negative, it's a negative outlook, because if a player wants, it's more like it's reversed. If a player wants to go up and play a division for a different team, it's automatically, like, kind of frowned upon, or there must be poaching involved, there must be this, there must be that. But then if a player from a Div 1 or Div 2 team drops down, none of the Div 1 teams are thinking anything bad. Right. If that makes sense. It's all like, oh, okay, they're going to go they obviously want to play at a different place. And you let them go. But then it's a negative outlook if a player from, like, a Div 4, Div 5 team goes, oh, you've got to jump up, there must be this involved, there must be that involved, but it's just like they just want to play at the highest level.
Yeah. I think it has a lot to do with, I hate to say this, because it's going to sound like a cocky or arrogant, but D1 teams are kind of used to the skilled players. Like, obviously you have your, like, diamonds, like your really great players, but I mean, at least on paper, all 49 of your players should be your top 5 to 10 players on a Div 3 team. So to them, like, it's like diamonds to them, like they're treasured to them. But then luckily we're surrounded by really great players. We're like, okay, go, okay, that's cool. And that's when the poaching comes on, because you got only like 1 or 2 of those per team, and you're like, damn, he's gone. Like, what are we gonna do now?
I remember when Lambda went to R22R to play for them, like, that was, like, pretty devastating to Legion, because he's a top, 2 shooter, and he's probably not number 2, and he's a top 5 tanker, and he's probably not 2 through 5, and he's just, like, the best all-around player, and it sucked, and, like, I would love to have him still be on Legion, but, I watched all their games, I cast a couple of their games, and you can just see the impact. Like, you see him on the map and, like, the bubble that he kind of creates around him, where it's just like anything that comes to that bubble is done. Like, he's showing the guys these spots, and I part of me wishes that there was more of that and see what the league shakes out to be in that case. But the next best thing is, like, the hypothetical salary cap, where every team has, like, $1,000 hypothetical dollars, and they have to pay the players and stay under the cap. That'd be wild.
Hot take, poaching ain't real.
Players
are going to go where they want to go. And I feel like just the league trying to stop that is just bad. in general. I get the playoff thing. Like, obviously, Merc loses round one. Merc's players go to Legion trying to help them win a championship, so they get like a Disneyland ring.
Yeah, Discord
that's
bio
just
update.
like-
That's yeah.
Yeah.
We play for them. Yeah.
That's stupid. But say you're on, say you're on like a Rage or something. Hey, I want to go play with 3-5. We're moving up, and then you stop that, and then that player can leave the game, or he's stuck somewhere he don't want to be. I hate these fucking rules, but I'm trying to be nice.
You hate the rules.
Rules and mindset. It's a rules and mindset. We know you hate the rules, Mr. Banned from every fucking Discord league.
Bad take. Yeah, okay, LeBear, how about you be a guest and debate me on this?
Let's bring this back to D9 because we still have the matchups to get through, and then we'll discuss more some of the topics that came up in the Discord these last couple weeks. But rounding it out with D9, so these are again more 30v30 teams, and we have here the 7th Cav, Zulu Squad Recon, ITHL, SVS, 2-6, Sons of Valor, and SCC. So. A couple standouts in this one to me. 7th Cav has been around as long as this game has been around, it feels like, and very happy to see them in TPL again here. I think they were around in like season 1, very, very, in the early days. SCC, obviously Crawley, you're probably familiar with them as OCE clan. So why don't you talk a little bit about them, because I feel like in the rest of the world or NA, and we don't hear a ton about these teams. So give us your take.
SCC were a breakaway from the 11th, and they have been primarily in 30s and 35s. So they did well in the off-season competitive league, so that was good for them. And I think that they've got a really good player kind of like shaping the way with Mogold, and he's been asking me for advice for a lot of truck snipes and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how like they play, being such probably only a really like tight group of players. You don't see a lot of them on, but when it comes to the competitive game, they're always all together. So I think they'll be pushing for top 2, top 3 in that division, and hopefully make the final, I reckon.
Yeah, you see Tommy Shelby, SCC Mogold is a legend. So yeah, a lot of
he could play higher in any division. He wouldn't look out of place. Like, he's a really good player, and I think just for that one player there for SCC, he will do a bit of damage.
D1 teams, do not listen to that last part. You erase that from your memory. Men in Black, Flash.
Hey, we've already had to turn rosters in, so
That's true.
No. We still got time. Got time.
It's an open transfer.
Oh, no
window.
way. I got
All
like
right,
a few phone calls. I'll be
So,
back.
Yeah. You gotta make a couple calls. Other standouts in this one, ITHL. I'm gonna be casting for them against 7th Cav tomorrow on PHL. That's gonna be one of the games that is gonna kick off the season tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. There's like 4 games that are starting all at the same time, but those are the 4 games that will be the start of the season, I guess you can say. So it's, we can see Doc talking about as an ITHL ambassador, he's happy to have the opportunity to play with North and South American teams. And, he's got even like Aussie teams here now too.
This will be our first Italian team, right? Or Italian,
I think they started off as a Italian team. I think that they merged with some other teams though, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Docs, but I had heard that, and there was like an update or something like that. Could be wrong. Maybe I'm entirely wrong, but I think it is the first like Italian-based team that I've seen in
Their
the
Discord's
league.
crazy. Their Discord's crazy. I joined it, the same as one SBS, and it's all in Italian. And I'm trying to figure out like what's going on in here. It's incredible.
Yeah, the you said you're in ZSR Discord as well.
Mr. Miller.
Not the ZSR one,
IT.
just the ITHL.
Yeah. No, I was just also seeing Mr. Medic saying that don't sleep on the ZSR boys, and Doc saying yes, they're the only fully Italian community. So
That's grass.
I'm gonna have to root for them as a Italian American, but partial paisan.
I know I know all about joining a team that you can't speak your language with. When I was in May for about 5 days, using Google Translate.
That had to
Dude,
be fun.
I loved it. I freaking loved it because they were. I was like Discording. I was using the Google Translate to talk with everyone. They're having full conversations, but they didn't like you to talk about the war, obviously.
I
But
couldn't imagine that would be the case. Yeah,
Casanova's a great guy.
he is a
He's
great
on his
guy.
own right.
Yeah, big fan of Casanova.
They didn't like that I was an American. I tried to tell them that I had like 5% rush, so I could stay. But they sent me out.
Oh, send him packing. Banned from another Discord. Now, what are we gonna do?
Me and Doc, actually. Me and Doc, before he came to Legion. Yeah, me and him were in both the 9PZ. Or 9May.
That's so funny, dude. With Garbage too, right?
Garbage tried to join. I don't think
he rocked the tag in Summit for a while.
Yeah, he tried to jump.
But D9 is another interesting one. I'm definitely excited for this one as well. So I'll be casting 7th Cav versus ITHL tomorrow. Why don't we get into the actual matches now here, guys? So I think what I have here is I have it in order of when these matches are occurring. So we'll start off here with SEC versus ZSR. So they are facing off week 1. Let me pull up my little sheet here. They are... Oh, hold on. I lost them by doing that. Okay. I'll have to do it like this. Sorry, everyone. They are playing on SEC versus ZSR. Sam Marie Dumont Pierre's Farm. And the Axis is ZSR and the Allies is SCC. So... Axis ally balance on Pierre's Farm is pretty decent, I would say. What do you think here, boys?
Go ahead, Crawley.
I think it's slightly towards the Axis favoured. Just it's a toss of the coin. Like it always depends on the mid cap. So I think if the boys prep their truck snipes well, or if they do the little things, then yeah, it'll be a bit of a kind of a shake up into who caps first, because maybe taking out a whole truck of players might swing that in the balance, especially for Pierre's Farm, because
really
once you get Pierre's Farm,
for the Allies, you can get that snipe of them coming out. Taco did it to Legion, and in these lower divisions, I feel like that's a devastating move. You take out a truck, you take out like potentially like the whole team, like
the whole team.
Yeah, bro, like. If they do the little tiny things right in 30s, it's just gonna, because especially if you get Pierre's and you just turtle up that point, it's gonna be really difficult to take that.
Yeah. You know, it's harder than taking Pizza Slice with 49 guys is trying to take it with 30 guys. It's not easy. So this will be a fun one. I'll definitely be tuning in. We have a poster of the matches. Let me just see if I have that up here. I'll put it in here in a second, but I think that this will be a fun one to kick off the season. So another one of these kicking off the season matches, we have the 7th Cav versus ITHL. We were talking about this just a moment ago, and this one is on Purple Heart Lane with flak position. So ITHL will be the Allies and 7th Cav the Axis. What do you guys think about that one? Snow, why don't you tell us first here? What's your thoughts?
ITHL takes the win here. Shout out Docs. No, I mean, Purple Heart Lane Allies, it can't really get better. I don't know.
I mean, I'd rather have Grau Pillbox if I was the Allies, but Grau Pillbox, or I'm sorry, flag position is kind of interesting because it's like a little bit fair, but I think it's easier for the Allies to recap. Like they have a much more lead up to the point where the Germans just kind of have like aid station there at the 4th point there, and like from there on it's just like a mess. Like if you have one MG, you're cooked. So I think that this is Purple Heart Lane is a map that plays entirely different in 30s, so I think that that's going to be the best chance for the Axis here to be able to cap this point and come away with a win.
And then Jock was saying he had a time playing on Hell EU, but that's a lot of experience, and I'm sure you guys did some form of prepping. 7 Cav, I mean, they've done it. They've been out of the game. They're coming back into it, I believe.
Yeah, they were around season 1.
Yeah, and I mean, no win. So it's gonna be interesting. I will pick ITHL for this win.
So now we have SVS versus 2-6. Some really cool graphics there. I really enjoy these. But for that one, we are on.
Wani's team?
I'm sorry. Is that Wani's team? Who's Wani playing for nowadays? 3-5?
3-5.
Yeah, I saw him the other night.
Is it 3-5?
Yeah, when we were playing them. But this is. Yeah. Things move quick here, Snow. Very, very quick. Samory Dumont, Pierre's Farm again here. So, same sort of situation where the SVS will be the Axis and 2-6 will be the Allies. I think the same sort of rules apply. 2-6, if they prep this, can really deal a devastating blow off the jump. This is the second of 3 Pierre's Farm games this weekend, by the way. So, everyone wants to play Samory Dumont, of course.
Best midpoint in the game.
You think so?
I love it. Well, I personally like playing Pierre's Farm.
Yeah, I like AA a little bit more. I think
Crawley?
You disagree with that take?
I do.
Fucking shit for infantry. Just died to Artie in open field MGs and a sniper sitting on top of the fucking roof.
That's very true.
You say AA, I swear I hate AA because what happens is Axis pulls their tanks up behind that hill and just sits there all game and shoots the allied armor and all the infantry that's trying to cross in the gardens.
You're supposed to stop them.
Yeah, you can't. They're fucking up there. We lost to EXO because of that shit.
Yeah.
In the scrim.
When we scrimmed you guys on that map, that was a fun one because you guys capped first, and you guys had a recon tank that was behind that house. The roof, the shed that you can kind of get up on.
Yes.
You guys had a Puma there or something like that, and it was just so annoying. It lived for entirely too long. I spent many lives just trying to rocket it, and I'm not good at rockets. I was like, anyone else want to take a shot at this? Like, genuinely, anyone else?
That was the game of weight caught me when my tank blew up crawling through the wheat field, going to your Gary.
Yeah, yeah. That Gary that you had on the other side of that wheat field, you built it like 30 times, I think. Determination, for sure. But now we have the Soldier of Hell versus the 48th Royal Tank Regiment. This one's on Kharkov Night. The midpoint there is... Apologies. What is the mid... Oh, St. Mary. So we have the Axis as the 48th and the Allies as SOH. So St. Mary's is... I mean, it's a pretty Allied-favored map, Kharkov. But St. Mary's, I think, is the most favored... Or even, I should say. What do you guys think? You guys played it a good amount in 6, I believe, right?
Kharkov is a 6 staple. We love that map as the Allies. I just think for the Allies, even if you cap St. Mary first, it's easier to hold compared to the Axis because they've only got the 3 lanes to really work off, and if they get pushed out of that front lane, then they've got really no leg to get back there, considering how much you can climb the actual church and get up there and hold the ground with even just one SVT sniper. It's going to be really tough. So I think the toss of the coin really with this, I'd say Soldiers of Hell because they're allies.
Yeah, I'll pick that as well.
Yeah, I would say the 48th has a little bit more experience, I believe.
Yeah.
But I think the Allies is really strong. To be a contrarian, to just go with the experience, I'll take the 48th. I'm not tracking these right now. I maybe later we'll go in and do these as well.
Let's track the top 3 divisions.
Yeah,
there's so many
yeah,
teams.
because we're not so familiar with these teams. We're just going to be picking factions, really. But I still wanted to obviously give these teams a little bit of, breakdown here because it is the start of the season tomorrow. We then have our first Latin American team here, Comando Especial Latino versus the experienced Sons of UDT. This is Sam Dumont on Pierre's Farm again, so our third Pierre's Farm match of the weekend. And here let me see. There's 4, dude. There's 4. This is the third of 4. So SUDT is the Axis here. CEL is the Allies. I'm not so familiar with CEL personally. I'm not sure if they're going to be doing snipes and stuff, which is so key to the Allies here. But I think the 30s format just allows teams to kind of have the freedom. If they don't get the mid cap, they can do some wacky, red zone stuff and make things work. So that's why I always watch these matches through and not just in D1 matches. Sometimes you just watch the first 20 minutes and you're like, all right, I get it. Yeah.
I think SUDT win. Just for comp experience wise, I think when you start a new team and you come into a competition like that and you come up against a team that's been doing it for a long time, especially in the format it is, I think it's going to be very tough. So I'm going SUDT.
Agreed with that. They've been at it too long, and I'm not gonna disrespect them by picking against them. But to be fair, I could be completely on the other side of the coin here, and CEL could have way more experience. I'm just not familiar with the leagues that they played in. So please correct me if I'm wrong and clip this and make it into a montage and some billboard material for you if you or bulletin board material if you need it. So. Then we have Panzer Lear versus the 11 ID. Omaha Beach, so our first Omaha sighting here. And that is going to be Omaha is Artillery Battery, and 11 ID is the Allies. So getting the favorable side here is the team with more experience, which is always a dangerous combination here. What are you giggling about, Snow?
Crawley? I'm ready to see what Crawley picks here.
Which one's Axis and which one's Allies?
11 ID is Allies, and PZLD is Axis.
That's AA.
Yeah.
Toss of
Artillery
coin.
Battery, yeah, the South Point.
Technically, Allies get there first with, it's on their side of the... Well, I don't know. I'll just say 11 ID because they changed their logo and it looks much better now. So, yeah. Go 11 ID.
Hey, he said something nice. Let's go. Speaking of logos, this 9PZ, take notes. You can keep the name Panzer in your group, and just have something cool.
Snow's been banging the 9PZ change your name
Dude,
drum
everybody
for
would love
months
them.
now.
It would be so much more if they stopped being fucking cocky little shits. But besides that, everyone would love that team. That's like a good underdog story. But what happens is you get called a Nazi for supporting these guys, even though they're not. I don't think they are. We don't think they are. We're not sponsoring them by that. I'm just flat out saying that someone coming into the group sees that, they're like, oh shit. Look at the Italian team. They're not like Mussolini's. They're not his it's not his fucking army, but they're Italian. Who cares? We're rocking with it. But see, here you go. You got the death, big L, Lear. I don't know what Panzer Lear means, but anyway, Panzer Lear.
See, this
Panzer Lear 7.
This is the hard hitting analysis that people come to this program for. This is exactly what the people want to hear, Snow. So thank you for always being a man of the community.
5-0, Panzer Lear's gonna win this game, by the way.
Okay, all right, that's bold. I think the Allies take it. The Allies is so nice. I mean, just to the recap ability, even if you mess up, you have a way better opportunity. Again, I'm speaking from a 49ers mindset, so all bets are off here. You can make some shenanigans happen at the church, which is obviously your hinge point for the Axis, because if you lose that little house complex area on the map edge, you're gonna have a bad time.
Which one was the Allies?
11 ID.
Ah, fuck it. We're good.
Now we have the 79th versus DBD. Earlier we heard in the comments, don't sleep on the 79th, so keep that in mind with this pick. We're on Driel, so that's an interesting one, and that is going to be the bridge. So I think it's the first time we've had Driel Bridge in a competitive game, surprisingly. It's always been the famous now Brick Factory, or what is it, the gun emplacements we've seen a couple times now. So
Brick Factory's a new West Bend.
Yeah, I don't know about that, dude. It sucks as the Allies. Like the close range stuff is good, but you're not close range there at all. It was not a fun game against you guys there.
Yeah,
You guys get the point so much quicker.
Oh, I'm not gonna deny that it is a gimme point, but it's just not a fun point to hold at all. I mean, neither is West Bend to your point, but
Let's give Legion midpoint and did separate. Let's make our entire front line a fucking river and see how it goes.
It
was a great thought. It was a great thought picking that map. It was a great thought.
You really kind of psychologically kind of messed us up though, because we're like, why would they do this? Like, what do they have planned? Like, what are they up to? We were like, all right, we're going into this assuming that every single truck is getting sniped, because why else would they pick this? And the wall drops. We hear your Lux start shooting. We're like, all right, they got something, or didn't they? Like.
Probably didn't we pick it because we could have played that as the finals map? We were just kind of
we were leading up to the TPL final last year. We got left with Drill as Axis or SME as Allies, and it was kind of like a reality check of what could have been instead of
right.
Yeah. So. We tried it and we thought, maybe it wasn't as bad for the Axis as we thought, because when we looked at all the points and things like that, we thought Brick Factory was the biggest issue. But in hindsight, I'd say Drill. It's a favoured midpoint if they do have Brick Factory, but I think there is a way you can win on that map.
It's certainly a wild card. People don't play it. The meta isn't as established on it. You kind of have to... probably people prepping for it is their first time playing it in quite a while. It's not in the ordinary rotations that these teams play. So I always like watching Driel games because of that, and Railway Bridge will have me tuning in. My gut says DBD just because it's a name I recognize, to be honest with you. But, I've seen the 79th in the chat here, and with that, comes a certain amount of, you're gaming. And you're playing the game a lot and you're invested, so that makes me kind of rethink that. But I'm gonna go with DBD here, on Driel. And out of bounds half track. Bear Juice says you clowns! You used it in a scrim. You should not have done that. We knew about it too, but we were not gonna do it in a scrim.
We that was something that. It wasn't planned for, and it really wasn't at all. Because when we found that, we were like, "This could change the tide," and we were going to pull it out later. But for some reason, some of the boys did it, and we can't look back at it now because at the end of the day, funny. Awake going, "Did you just spawn on that half track?" And then Rum, of course, being in the game, watching, being the summon organizer, was there, going, "Wait, they just get a spawn?" And I was like, "Fuck!" There goes that idea. But,
dude, it's like when I told it's like when we played Taco and I told Echo after the game, having someone to help move the AT gun before someone killed. It won't 2 days later he amended the rules announcement to everybody. I was like, you son of a bitch.
That was your first encounter with hating the rules, Snow?
No. When I got banned the first time
it goes back to being told to clean up his toys.
I got banned for TPL because I got a weak mute in Summit. So I posted my free me video or photo in TPL to rile the masses, and then I get banned from there. It's the bullshit, mods. We better hurry up and finish these games. We're gonna have a rant. Just kidding. No, I'm not. But yeah, I'll come back. I'll behave. I ain't done nothing. Nothing with an N and a U and a F. Listen, the first time I said rag with an F, like, okay, we all say it. It happens. It just slipped. It wasn't my fault. Anyway.
All right, let's get into the next match here. RDG versus DLB on San Marie Dumont, our final Pierre's Farm game. Who is the allies? It is going to be RDG as the allies. So, we've talked about Pierre's Farm a couple times already now, and, we'll just kind of leave it at that. But who do you guys picking? RDG's had a lot of recruitment.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick RDG. 100 push-ups for an unbanned? Dude, I will do them right now on stream. If you're dead serious. If you can get certified proof. Because last time I did a fucking cartwheel for $10 and Keystone never paid me.
Snow's just like, you just pay him, you just do whatever he wants. Like, it's like that Family Guy episode where they just give Peter $10 and he does anything. Like,
Really, I think RDG wins this.
Yeah, me too. I think that would be my early pick for, team that's like a big winner of all this recruitment is RDG. So hopefully they ride that wave of recruitment and able to come away with a win. So let's move it along and move to 626 versus RMC. So this is a game that I'm streaming on Foy. 626 is the allies here. I'm fairly sure of that, and I'm going to be trying to stream from their side just to get the full West Bend experience. But we are just picking the axis here on this one, so that would be RMC. And let me just double check that. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I would
pick Axis. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays like in 30s and 35s, but just like it's notorious being Axis win rate, so I'm going to go Axis. Yeah. RMC.
It's going to be a fun one. So tune into the channel on that is Sunday now at I think 3:00. So that's going to be a fun one. Now everyone's favorite team name, Only Fins versus 263 Division Española. So a battle of two non-English speaking clans, and this is going to be a fun one on SME. This is Checkpoint, and the Axis will be played by 263H. So Checkpoint, pretty fair. It kind of comes down to if you're gonna have Cemetery. That's a brutal pick, and so is Maison du Creek, I think it is, where it's like you can spit across your blue line into the strong cap. So I think that's always a difficult part of playing the Americans. What do you think, Crawley?
Okay, Crawley.
I think playing Checkpoint as the allies in a few TPL matches last season, I think if you lose the cap first, it's a lot harder to go for that recap because you get so narrowed down into like 3 lanes.
Right.
And that wheat field, if the axis set up properly, is an absolute punish. And that small riverbed. Right? Yeah, the one in the south, and then that riverbed that leads straight into point. If that's covered with an MG, it's just hell the entire time. But I'm gonna go Only Fins 5-0 because of the name.
I think I'm gonna pick the Fins as well, but I think that they have a lot of experience over there.
Yeah.
Alrighty, now our second to last one here. Rage versus Red Zone, also on San Marie Église Checkpoint, and the Axis is being played there by Red Zone. So, I'm going to be watching Red Zone, even though it has commercials, I guess. I mean, maybe I won't. I mean, if they ruin that, then I think I'm just like done. But hopefully they're not going to be playing with commercials on Sunday. And
What a stupid bit you just did. What a fucking dude! 90% of the audience has zero clue what you just said.
well, then they don't know ball, so that's fine. That's fine. I'm talking to the ball knowers out there. We're bigger than just the Hell Let Loose
Skeeter,
podcast.
and me, Skeeter, and probably Wild Bill is the only people that got that.
Hey, great people. I'll take it. But so Red Zone as the axis here, same sort of rules apply. I think that it's going to be interesting with Rage probably having the more experience. How they'll, and coming off a division championship as well last season, I think that they might be able to adjust to be playing the Allies a little bit easier. But I think Red Zone surprised me a lot last season in what we saw and being a really, really good team.
I believe these two teams played each other. Am I wrong?
D1 ball knowers, right, Bill? You got that.
Let's go. I'll tell you a funny story about that in a second. But I think I'm gonna pick Red Zone here. Rage had quite a bit of people leave. I just don't think they're the same team as they were last year. Some not notable names like Teddy and such left after the season, so we'll see. Maybe they can shot me. Hope I'm wrong. But what do you think, Crawley?
I'm going to go Rage. I think Rage, just with the comp experience and having a few key players, might change it. But yeah, I think Rage will win.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Rage as well, just with the experience. But Red Zone is going to be a close match, and I'm definitely going to be watching this one. All right, our last one here, and this is going to be wrapping up the weekend as well. So these were all in chronological order. We have Hellraisers Brazil versus Legion 201. So this is on Carentan. We're on Town Center here. So it's been a while since we've had a Town Center one. And then Hellraisers Brazil is going to be the Axis. So I think that they probably come in with a slight advantage. Town Center is STG bot central. Like, that is probably one of the best points in the whole game for the STG. The Thompson is also very, very powerful on Town Center for sure, but in that mid-range, alley, end of alley to end of alley, the STG reigns supreme in my mind.
Yeah. I hate the map.
Yeah, as a tanker, I'm sure you do not like that. But Crawley is an infantryman, so he probably appreciates it. He's always in the meat grind.
I love it. It's a fun map. It's a punish. Allies, I find, is a real punish. If they cap and then they push you out to that, like, and especially if their fourth point is, what's the one that's really shit and it's really on the red-blue line? What's it called?
Here's our weekly punishment of Ruin.
We almost didn't talk about it this week. You're right, though.
Okay.
Ruin sucks. Ruins will lose you the game.
Yeah. Like, when
Ruins
we
will
played,
lose the game.
we did an ANZR 6 scrim against LGN, and when we got pushed out and then we lost Ruins, we found it a victory that we were even able to cap Ruins back.
Capping Ruins back,
yeah.
You should just win by default if you're able to do that.
Yeah.
It's
When we
actually
did that,
insane.
Yeah, when we did that, we were like, boys, it's not bad for like 6 ANZR split against Legion. That's unreal. We lost the game, but it was like the fact to come 4-1 down and cap back Ruins, it was just like, yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, there's a lot of land between your blue line then and the hard cap there.
You know what's funny enough? The only times I've seen Allies win with Ruins as their fourth is actually when they nearly lost or fully lost that point, and then the disadvantage of holding Ruins like went to the other team. They were down like 3-5 against Rofs. They had lost Ruins and were able to just start and take Ruins back, and then already have a jump start. It sucks for whoever has it. Is basically what I'm saying. I hate that point.
Yeah.
We lost 8 lost to 4 AD. If you remember this team.
Is that the same,
because of
like,
that
as 22nd, or is that a different one?
No, then it was 4 ID.
Oh,
It
4
was
ID.
One of those two.
Okay.
Yeah. it was when this was the week or the game before the 5ID game. So we were talking. I was on the fucking Winters pod, drunk, talking shit, lost. I was pissed because we had Ruins as our fourth, and I think it was a train station. We lost.
Yeah.
And then we had 5ID after that and lost. I was just.
I would definitely be down to do a
Crap.
scrim with you guys where we play like a derailed train, but we play it so that Ruins isn't the fourth point for whoever's on that side. Just because, I think derailed train is like one of the most fun points in the game. I think it like mixes armor and infantry as well as you can on. I think Canal Crossing is probably a little bit more armor. Town Center is obviously like exclusively infantry, but derail train you get a little mix of both. So I always enjoyed that point. So, but Ruins again will ruin the game. All right, but I'm gonna pick Hellraisers Brazil. I think that they're a fun team, and I've seen what the Brazilian community has been able to do as far as like the quality of their players. So I'm gonna pick the little of a wild card pick, considering Legion 201's experience in competitive play.
I'm picking the Latinos. Let's go, Legion 201. This is basically Legion, like America's Legion. It's a little brother. You guys train them up.
Yeah, same name. That's all it takes.
But yeah, shout out to the Gringos versus Latinos public server. They're on every single night, Caparzo, and every night there's like 35 people on there.
DM me this weekend. If I'm not casting, I'll jump in with you.
It's I think it was last night or the night before. Me and like Savage, like a tanker I play with, we just hopped up in there, and then there's just I said, "Hey, I'm a Gringo," and they're yelling at me. It was just funny. Love that server. Don't change it.
So that's our analysis of all the matches going on this weekend, and now we have a little time to just do a little catch up of all the things that have happened in these last couple of weeks. So, a little bit of sad news first, I suppose, with the First and WRTB kind of having their struggles, and those are two OG teams. As long as the game has been around, those two groups have been around. Like my first competitive match I ever played was against WRTB, played First countless times. So I hope that they come back in some capacity, but definitely sorry to see those two clans have the trouble that they are.
I've heard for WRTB, they're not playing comp, but they're going to make a comeback when it comes to Vietnam. So I heard they're going to have a bit more resurgence back then, and I think more of their competitive players have just spread out to play whatever they feel like what is best fit for them in TPL. But hopefully they come back around when it's Vietnam, and we see a lot more boys with the WRTB tag. But for me, WRTB was the first ever comp match I ever played on at Roths.
Yeah.
When I was a level 32 or something like that. It was my first ever comp, and they absolutely wiped us.
Yeah.
So it's like
we got wrecked. Who cares? Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it's just like it's really sad to see like that. Because, it used to be Void, KWRC, WRTB, they used to be, like, the three main ones, and then even Roths was the first, like, up there with the 11th as the first, two ACE teams there. So it's like an OG slowly dissolving, so it's pretty sad to see for the community-wise.
Yeah, agreed. And obviously First, with it being so close to the season and then having to kind of pull out of the season is obviously unfortunate. Kind of opens up D2 a little bit because they were one of my early sort of favorites in that division. They kind of did things the right way, I felt, where they were building through 35s again after the whole Exodus, and they were kind of getting to the point where, we did that cast a couple, maybe like a month or so ago, Snow, and it was super entertaining. Like, they played really, really well, and it's definitely sad to see. And Malarkey's asking Snow how many hot dogs he had, so Snow's making a face about it. He's trying to count in his head and on his hands and feet right now of how many hot dogs.
That's wild. That is wild. 4. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's sad to see, but I'm hopeful for Vietnam, and that's a great way to kind of like look forward to that and rebuild from there. So the other thing we wanted to talk about is the armor change. So Snow, I want you to kind of take the lead on that. What do you think is what do you think is that's going to bring to the game?
Sorry, I'm laughing at myself. Message retracted. Okay. I think it's gonna be good. I've actually like been kind of watching it with like one eye open because we've seen like with the GTA leaks and stuff. So okay. We've seen like with the GTA leaks and stuff. So not a lot's confirmed, at least from what I've been seeing. Like we saw the video, I'm sure you have, about the guy like tweaking the tank and making the Lux barrel spin like
Like
a million miles an
helicopter?
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's obviously all in its testing phases. I hope. Have you played Squad? Off topic,
It's
but-
funny you say that. I actually played a good bit recently, and I don't want to give up on it, but it's really not doing itself any favors in my mind. It was a painful, horrible experience.
Have you played the tanks on Squad?
No, I've played just infantry because that's kind of my bag. But I do hear that the armor is much better,
Yeah, and
or more fun.
Yeah, I wish it would stay like it is. I wish they would just implement small features like I would love to see like a crewman die if you get hit in the wrong spot. Or the ability, like just like in real life, where a light tank can take out a heavy. Yeah, you can drive behind them. Well, you don't fucking care in tan. Like most of your
It's not
fights are like
happening,
in
yeah.
the front. But anything to break this current tank meta, like I'm suffering from it because I'm like ADHD and can't sit on a fucking repair station for 48 minutes and just shoot and shoot. I'll shoot you. I repair. You shoot me. We repair.
Right.
Just for both of us to die because one satchel player runs up around us behind the line and gets the Mahojo satchel in our tank in HQ needs a death threat. Sorry,
Well,
off topic.
if that happens now in this new meta that's been created, and you're able to take out a tank in HQ, you know that they're not going to get another tank for 10 minutes, and the clock started when the satchel
I
went
didn't
off.
know that.
You know, so you
I didn't-
you only get another heavy. So the blog post basically says that your team is limited to 2 heavies, but you have to remember that the developers of this game have the Panther and the Tiger, and then the 76 and the 75 Jumbo, and they view that as a legitimate heavy tank. Obviously, we don't play with the Panther on competitive rule set, so you're basically limiting the teams to 1 heavy up at any given time. And anytime that heavy is destroyed, you set a clock or you look at the timer on the match and you say in 10 minutes they're going to have another heavy. And if you have a guy like Mahojo or a guy that's dedicated now, like maybe this is where you take that 3rd tank crew that maybe you're not going to need now, and you just dedicate them to just destroying their tank before it gets out of their HQ. Is that going to help the meta? Is it going to stalemate it more, or is it going to hurt it in a way where it's like, okay, whoever loses their heavy first is just done, you know? It's going to be a lot of medium spam to Newt's point in chat.
Yeah, I just hate. I would say I love everything about like comp as it is now, besides armor. Like besides the armor, the way armor has to play now is just insane.
A lot of the people in the 6 would like, to maybe if there's a competition or a rule set that says you can't build repair stations, that changed the whole like armor dynamic, like
Right.
fundamentally. That could be another thing you could look into because like at the moment you've got tanks that would just sit 300 meters away from the point on 3 rep stations, and even if they're on the axis, they're going to have a bunker. You can't even destroy those rep stations unless you get up to it. And yeah, it just, I don't know. I really sympathize with the tankers because we expect so much, but we also realize that everything's changed. Like everything. So
and just in the way D1 is, it's almost impossible, and this is just coming from me, it's almost impossible for a team down mid it's almost impossible for that team to come back and take mid without armor,
Right.
like without a push with armor. So then, okay, so using against you guys, for example, when we played on was it St. Marie de Mont? No, it was on Omaha, top point.
Yeah,
You guys were able to. We were knocking your tanks out. We were. You guys were knocking a few of ours. We were knocking a few of yours. But just the ability that you guys could sit back, but you knew in the back of your head that for 6 to come take this point from you guys, our armor's got to get exposed to push
Right.
this point.
And you had
So-
that 2
so
armor push at that one point, and as soon as you lose that, it's like what like on one hand it's like what are you guys doing, like using your tanks like that. On the other hand, it's like, well, gotta make a play, you know, gotta try to make a play.
Yeah, that was me and BP. Me and BP are screaming into our white chats. We're just like, what the fuck the infantry doing? But meanwhile, when we're dead, we're like, well, fuck, they have a tank down the mid road. You got MGs everywhere in the church. Like, it's harder than what we see it.
Right.
But we're like, well, fuck, we're exposing ourselves. We knocked out these 2 Legion tanks to push up. Why isn't our infantry? So it's just a constant like tug of war. That's why I think comp now is the opener. The opener is the comp play. That is like, whoever gets mid first is a lot how you have to play, and it takes a near miracle to pull back. It takes armor. It takes everybody to take a point back. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Right, and you see Silver Newt saying he dueled an exo tank for 20 minutes on Carentan in a stupid rep station kite battle. It's almost boring. Yeah,
It is.
It's whoever can take out the rep stations first and most effectively, and that usually means shifting Artie across. Which then, if you don't take out the tank and Artie hit shell in the tank, all the infantry saying, "Oh my goodness, I'm not getting artillery anymore. Let me, make the other team's life hell."
And it used to, you could see like how do you judge a good tanker now? Like, if anyone could sit, pull forward 5 meters, shoot back up, and then when you're getting scrutinized or someone else scrutinizing you, or you seeing people on stream like, what the fuck are you doing? Blah blah blah. Like you just said, like when 2 tanks push a point, like, oh well, yeah, that's very sloppy use of their manpower, but what are you accomplishing if you're not doing kind of things? But like how it used to be, like people that would like go out of their way to do something with that would get like rewarded because just the way the play is, and that's why I like watching the 30s, because you'll see a damn heavy tank in the red zone doing all kinds of things. It's wild.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wonder how it's going to impact it. I think the mediums are going to be a much bigger part of the game. Rosters are going to have to change, and all this is going to have to happen in the middle of the season here when this update comes out. So I think the week after that is going to be very, very interesting to see like the immediate reaction from teams from D1 to D9, like, how are they adjusting their gameplay based on this? It might be easier for the 30s teams to adjust because they're used to less manpower and, less tanks being up naturally. So that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to if I'm a little bit anxious about how it's maybe implemented.
I hope they don't do that. I hope they. Was that like an official?
Oh yeah, it's happening.
That's gonna suck, bro.
It's gonna suck.
Yeah,
That's gonna suck.
it's I want to be optimistic, but I guess we'll just see, right? It's gonna happen no matter what now, right?
If I'm fighting a medium and the turret does a 360 as fast as I can click my fingers, I'm leaving the game. That's ridiculous.
And if anything, it really makes Axis more powerful because the allied heavy can be side penned by a Panzerschreck. So if you're saying that both teams can only have one heavy up at a time, in our competitive rule set at least, the infantry for the Germans is anti-tank is so good. Like, the only thing that I could think of is just buffing the bazooka to do the same damage model.
Would more teams play as the British then? Because the Piat can also pen from the side like that.
That's something to think. That's a great point. That's a great point. Is teams going to target playing the British maps because of that, or maybe the Russian maps because they can have the anti-tank rifle. Like maybe that becomes like a bigger part of the game, because if you have a couple guys like a million miles away just plinking at the tank, that might be a good use of manpower all of a sudden.
I'm being honest. I think this is going to be dumb. I think they should have just done the kill a crewman. Like, you get shot in the front, damn, your driver's dead. Like, that would be, like, crazy. Like, you would have to strategically play to not kill your crew. And then the ability, like, I'm telling you, even if a store hits some pants from the side, which they did in World War II, that's pinning. Like, their AP shells, they're the same. They were near about the same between both factions. Like, the damage on the sides and their back armor, because all the tanks were made to get shot on the front. I think the ability to have more light tanks being able to kill heavier ones would be nice. Heavy tanks should stay like they are. But just like War Thunder, like, I know it's not the same game, but like you can run a light tank in War Thunder and kill heavy tanks. You just have to play like ratty to do it.
The work that would entail, I think, Snow, is more than just saying, hey, this is the new rule. You could only have this many. And I think, they said that they're going to monitor like how that works out, as far as like with community feedback. But I'm definitely interested. Someone said, Silvernewt said, keep everything the same and give us super heavies with the restrictions that they're imposing on heavies. That's not a terrible idea either. Or like,
tank destroyers.
The tank destroyers might fill the gap, but then it's just like, if that's the plan, then just do it in one update rather than like unbalancing the game with the intention of fixing it a couple months later.
I don't
By the
agree.
way, DM from Backpack, you're a F word. Okay, thank you, Backpack. I appreciate it.
I've got the same
Tubby.
one too.
Did he call you Tubby F word?
No, he's a Snow Mexican though, so he can shut up.
I didn't get a DM. Come on, Backpack. Give me one too.
Yeah, please.
So speaking of Backpack, an OG 7th member, a discussion topic was posted in the topic suggestion that I think has been talked about in league chats before, but it was posed by Popsicle, who credited it to Chapo, who was also talking about it. But OG 7th versus Season 5 Legion, who would win in that sort of matchup?
Legion in like 30 minutes.
You think it's that quick?
Absolutely. You guys didn't even hardly prep back then.
Well, you
It's like a
couldn't. I mean,
medieval-
I should say that the rule set that they proposed is Winter War League, so you have artillery, and 1 week of prep allowed.
I think Legion currently is probably the best it's ever been.
Legion would wipe the floor with 7th.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
I don't personally understand the argument to the contrary of that. I mean, it's like, the game moves so fast in terms of like, teams improving, and I think any team now beats the old version of them. Even like the best teams of old are nothing compared to even like the lower tier D1 or D2 teams today.
I mean, the best way to, I'm not trying to shut down a particular team, but the reason some teams are going up, like the OGs, the reason like Legion and these teams are going up, and then some teams like 6, like going up, and then with the HOE, but then you got teams like KRC and WRTV is because they didn't adapt. It took WRTV to Season 3 to use the artillery. It just, the lack of adaptment is. That's why you were in 7th. You guys didn't do rocket snipes.
No, I mean you just.
prep,
I mean there was some of that, like with Lambda doing the
Pink snipes
Purple
and
Heart
stuff
Lane
like that.
snipe and stuff like that. But I agree with Cardi. The Summit 5 Legion is, I'm obviously a little bit biased, but I think it'd be hard for any team throughout history to have beaten them. They're really, really solid. Like they didn't lose midpoint once. I don't think they ever lost midpoint when they had it. Just a very, very tough team to play last season. Loot Up Season 3 HLLE was also very good. I would agree with that. And 7th was definitely lucky to get
Yeah,
West
but
Bend
back
there.
you were playing plumbers, bro. You're like the MJ era.
Yeah.
Like
Wilt. Yeah, he scored 100. Yeah, against like lawyers.
yeah, but so okay. I'm just saying, like, 7th schedule consisted of like a first, a Berserk, the hard game of the Merc and HLE is your 2 tough games of the season. Then you would get these cupcake games for like 4 of your weeks. Just Legion right now. I mean, dude, and also like the NA base, Legion controls 90% of the top players on the NA
this is a
side.
hypothetical situation where like everyone can play for their original team, even though there's like crossover. But I think that the organization in Legion is way better. 7th was obviously incredible in that they were able to do all that with like no preparation, which is, you just had to show up, be like, oh, we're playing this. Oh, it's this midpoint. Oh, we're this faction. Like, you knew nothing.
Road to
Legion
Glory
would
will be
never.
good for that.
Yeah. Road to
The
Glory would be
competition.
good for that.
Yeah, right,
The Road to
right,
Glory
right.
competition. That's gonna be really interesting. So like when I don't know if many people know, but with the Road to Glory competition, when you muster and you say you're good to go, it quite literally they spin a wheel and they say this is the map, this is the midpoint, and they flip the map straight away. So you're not going to have as much prep as you would for TPL, where you know your midpoint, you know your faction, you know who you're playing. It's just going to be like that. So maybe we can see some of like the hypotheticals we're talking about now, how that's going to integrate over to Road to Glory. But yeah, I just think with everything that's gone on and played, it's hard to say that an old team from the old generation, would the old team go back on the formula of probably having one backline garrison? It's...
I like the all or nothing though. Like if I'm gonna be told one aspect, like the map, I want to know everything because then it's just extra prep to prep for all the permutations of it.
Yeah.
But I like that Road to Glory is kind of going, on the other way where it's like, all right, now you know nothing, and kind of getting back to that old style way of playing without the burning. Thank God. But
they do the exact same competition in PC. They have a competition that's like this, and it's unreal. Like I was playing for Ocelots on PC.
Ocelots.
Yeah, and then I've transitioned to another team, but like we rocked up on the day and we were versing ESPT, and we were like, all right, hopefully we get a favored like midpoint. It flips Utah, Chapel, and their allies, and I just went, all right, I'm done.
All right, yeah. Let's see how far we can get on this one.
Yeah, we lost in 25 minutes, and I was like, yeah, at least we held. It's so ridiculous.
That's crazy. So, before we wrap up here, you want to just talk a little bit about your matchup next weekend? I mean, we're going to try to have you back on, Crawley, next week to do the 49s and stuff where we can kind of get more in depth with the teams and everything like that. But why don't you go over your match? You guys are playing Merc on Carentan, right?
Yeah, so Canal Crossing. Look, the 6 has been, like, we've done really good, I think. Our off-season recruitment has done really, really well with bringing in some quality players from OCE that have obviously wanted to take the next step in the game, and they've wanted to play in the Div 1 team, and being the blessing that is with the OCE side, there is only one destination to go for D1. Right. Unlike, you got, like, in NA and, like, in Europe, there's a few other teams, like you got Merc and Taco, but I think for the Merc matchup, it's really going to set... Hopefully we go out and make a statement. That's what I'm really hoping for. We go out and we play really well. We've already started, probably from the start of last week, doing a lot of prep in behind of how we're going to go about, looking at the map. Like, the map has a few really, really key areas you need to control. It's not releasing any strats or anything. It's just stating the obvious. So the Armament needs to play well. Like, if they get dug in, it's going to be real hard to get them out. But we hope that with what we've been doing behind the scenes, we can really go put to work and hopefully get the win.
Yeah, and Merck has had a lot of
Yeah.
recruitment as well. So, I think that both of these teams, yourselves and Merck, are kind of trying to do the same thing, like make that statement, set the tone for the season. If you can, I think more than any other game all season, like it's a game that a lot of teams want to 5-0 and just kind of be like, set that tone and, set the pace for the season.
Yeah,
It's,
go.
go ahead, Crawley.
No, you go, mate.
I was just gonna say it's the first game of the season, but probably one of the most important, just for seeding aspects. Like you lose this game, then you're looking at, I don't know who we play round 2, but if we play like
Taco.
EXO round 2, Taco, okay. Well, if we lose week 1, then that Taco game would be like a must-win game because you don't want
Right.
to go down 0-2.
Right? Is it a
Into the
must win
season
or
of,
a
like,
can't
6 games.
must win or can't lose? That's there's two different kinds of games. This is a must
Well,
win.
Yeah.
every
This is-
game's
I
a
mean,
must win, but when it comes to the taco, there's a bit of blood, and there's like because the 6th origin is we've like
I'm unfamiliar with
when
any
we-
of the sort of beef
yeah,
with
but it's
Ty.
like it's not so much beef, it's just a rivalry because like the 6th played Taco in the TPL like grand final a long time ago in 30s, and then
Right.
6 ended up winning. So then once both those
As I
teams,
recall, there
then
might have been a
went-
little bit of drama around the circumstances of that game to begin
Yeah.
with, but it's
Yeah.
neither here nor there, I suppose.
And then no one backs it up with evidence. So cheers for that. Just throw shade because you lost. But anyway, they like it's just a good rivalry. Like there's obviously some really good lads at Taco. And I love always playing them because all our matches, like go back to the
Oh
last.
my
great.
goodness!
They're always that canal crossing when. That was probably one of my absolute favourite wins. Like Snow just joined 6, and
3
we were-
days in.
yeah, we were
In
that
infantry.
short on numbers. We were that short on numbers. Snow were like, "Oh, Snow, guess what? You're on the front line playing infantry." And he's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, we're screwed." But we ended up winning with like 3 seconds left on the clock, and it was just
That was an
a famous
incredible
win.
match. Yeah, we were
Yeah.
talking in Legion earlier today. I think Mac was asking about like the best games in like history as far as like and that one came to mind. Obviously, it came up in the conversation of the TPL finals, the 6 versus Legion one on the PHL match where you had like
Malarkey's dropout.
yeah, Malarkey's internet getting all tangled up in the wires over there, and yeah, but like in the last 15 minutes, you have 4 cap changes. Like, in my opinion, that is going to be a very, very hard match to beat as far as like 2 teams at the top of their game playing in the biggest game of the season and having that many cap changes in that little amount of time at the very end of the game. And it being Purple Heart Lane just as the chef's kiss right there.
Raging Blue killed me 36 times or something like that.
Yeah, you're in his Hall of Pain, I think. That's
Yeah.
His
Yeah,
Discord
that
bio. It's like every person that he's killed over 20 times as
Oh,
artillery.
shit. If that is true, that's cooked. Let me search this bloke up.
Yeah, it is true. I don't know if you're in there. I don't know if you started counting it back then, but certainly it has been keeping track.
No,
Hey, don't forget-
I'm not.
Oh no! Hopefully, he doesn't see this.
Fuck off, Raging Blue.
I'll never forget when Zito killed Trill 38
On
times
Stalingrad, right?
on that Stalingrad
Oh
game.
my
Dude,
goodness!
if I was Trill, bro, I would uninstall it so quick.
We
Did
shot
you-
ourselves in the foot for those 2 weeks when we played Exodus. We gave them all favoured midpoints, and it was just for
Yeah.
an hour and 10 minutes was just a grind. And then
Cheeks
once we
did
capped,
you
we were just
dirty
like,
on those burns there.
Oh,
He's a
bro.
wizard.
It ended up being like Malarkey's just like, fuck it, just stop fighting your tanks, just go into the mid. Yeah, I sat in that fucking midpoint with no ammo for 15 minutes, just sitting there for cat wait.
That was a crazy game too. That's definitely up there. Your Kursk one against them is certainly up there in my mind. On the less fortunate side of things for you guys, the Hurtgen game was incredible for it being a Hurtgen game too. Like no one expected that, and it was very interesting for me, especially having played you guys in the opposite circumstances for you, but just a couple weeks prior, and we actually casted it on this channel. that match. So I thought that was very, very interesting to watch, and a crazy ending of that one too.
Legion vs 6 on Omaha last TPL. That was a really good match. I really enjoyed that.
That was the another Sir Mayor.
Church
that was
game.
The beginning of our nightmare with Sir Mayor Church. Or
Church Gate.
Yeah. Yeah,
Churchgate.
After beating Taco that time in the last 1 second of the game on Sir Mayor, we thought oh, that's just possible to do all the time, and we forgot the 86 minutes that preceded that moment there, and we experienced that 86 minutes against you guys for 90 minutes, and then again against Taco on the other church on SME for another 90 minutes. So yeah, that was we're done with churches, unless it's Chaplain or the Allies, in which case sign me up.
Although off topic, but I think last season, Legion was a little bit ahead, but at least with us, Crawley, I think last season really showed you the benefits of map bans and how strategically doing your map ban. It used to, when it first started, it was just fuck it, we'll just ban what we don't like until bam, we get to fucking 6 or 8, and then we're locked in. But like you said, Crawley, we gave EXO literally everything and more that they wanted, and just at least for us, learning that hey, we need to start our process at the very first pick, and this is the way we need to go. I think that was one of the biggest takeaways from last season's summit. But super excited. We got Merc coming up. I like Still Renewed, but hope we blow them up a lot.
Yeah,
it's going to be Div 1's going to be really interesting. I think next week when we talk about it, there's going to be some really interesting takes, and I think more of the Div 1 boys that will be around will be able to look at it and go, yeah, they're going to agree. Some will heavily disagree, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
I get to talk shit about Ross being in D4. That's some
D5.
bullshit.
I speak of very big trouble. If I speak of very big trouble. Very big trouble.
Yeah,
right. Well, let's not get Crawley in trouble. And
I say shit.
He's not saying it. Crawley don't know anything about this, but seriously, imagine the six. You know what? We're gonna play with 40 people. Yeah, we were in the championship, but we're gonna play with 40 people and just run D5. That's so stupid. That's so stupid.
I mean, if they're struggling for numbers and that's the case, then that's fine. But
have you seen Transfer Market? They just got 15 players.
You're gonna say that. Really embracing the OCE stuff there, Snow. I love it. But
dude, you're born with it.
You're true blue now.
Don't call me blue. Red as it gets, but I've had a little drink. We're good. I'll go back.
Alrighty, but next week we're going to be back at it same time on Friday, and we're going to break down divisions 1 through 5. Obviously, we'll have a little bit more to say about the teams. These are all teams that we're generally very familiar with. So, Crawley, we'd love to have you back for that. Maybe we get another guest, someone else out there. If you're interested in joining the show, raise a ticket in the Discord, and we'll look to have you on.
We'll get Wilco on.
Yeah, get Wilco. I'll be truly outnumbered with 3/6. Wilco, that nut job too. That's that'll be a fun
fucking
one.
Understand 5 words to episode.
It'll be like that Cajun guy from The Water Boy, where everyone just nods.
Yeah, we got. It would be like him and Coach Ogeron or whatever his name is.
Yeah, right. LSU Coach O. But just want to thank everyone for watching and listening to us here tonight. Thank you, Crawley, for joining us. It was a pleasure having you. And we will see you next week for some more TPL action. Tune into all the streams that are going on this weekend. It's going to be a packed one. All right, everyone. Have a good weekend. We will see you next time.